Oh, we're live. Oh, look at you. So zen. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. This is the Two Coaches Podcast. This is where we talk about all things fitness and staying consistent, mental, living a better life, all that jazz. What's up, baby?
Yeah.
Today, we're going to be solving a question. We had a really, really awesome question from one of our members about what do I do when I'm on break? How do I stay on track? What do I make sure? What do I have to do to make sure that I do not fall off the wagon either during vacation or when I come back? Excellent question. Let's answer that, shall we? First, let's get that intro. Oh, Two coaches. Yeah. So what? So this question comes from Wendy, one of our members. She's really, really super awesome. Shout out to Wendy. She said, Coach, what do I do to stay on track during spring break? Spring break, not to date the episode, but spring break is next week, right? So a lot of people are going to be traveling. I know, especially kind of where we're at now with the state of the pandemic and the world and all that jazz. People are wanting to travel. They're wanting to get out and go and do something. So a lot of people are planning trips with their families, and that's awesome. But she's concerned about what to do while she's away. How does she stay on track?
Yep.
So what I told her was, you really only got two options to handle this. One is you do something while you're there as if you never left. So she works out all the time at 9 a.m. all the time.
Yep.
So on vacation, she should continue that habit. Let's say her workout regimen is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. She takes Wednesdays off, whatever, right? Then she should follow that exact same regimen, doing whatever she can do in her hotel room or in her, if she has like a gym, access to a gym, she can go and do a workout there, or just little stuff like squats in her room, anything really. Or when she comes back, she doesn't work out. Let's say the whole weekend is a wash, completely gone, doesn't work out at all. When she comes back, that next opportunity for 9 a.m., whatever time she comes back, that next 9 a.m. that rolls around, she has to miss that first time to get back into her routine. If she misses it, then she is really, really at a high risk for falling off the wagon for an extended period of time. So I said, pick one and have that be your plan. And then all you're going to do is execute that shit. What do you think of my advice to her?
Do whatever you want.
That's not good advice. That's terrible advice.
The whole time you were talking, I was like, nah.
What would you have told her?
No, it really does. It depends. I was having a conversation with another one of our members, Melba.
Shout out to Melba.
What up, Melba? But we were talking last night just about health and the journey and fitness and longevity and these realizations of like through your fitness journey, stepping back for a moment and realizing, oh, this is where I'm at, or this is where I feel like I'm at, or this is maybe what this really means to me, kind of like super deep stuff.
Yes, you got kind of into it.
But bring that into going on a cruise or whatever the heck it is that you're doing.
Okay. Yeah.
If this is something, if fitness, health and fitness, lifestyle, these habits, wellness are things that you actually want to make concrete. You want to put them into your embed them into your lifestyle, into your longevity, into your many years, hopefully, right?
Right.
To where these things become it's your thing. I haven't been on a cruise in so long. But we what a baby, right?
That is some first world problem stuff.
Oh, to travel would be so.
I can't remember the last time I was on a ship at sea.
Full of food.
Elizabeth's been watching Bridgerton. I always want to put a ham in there. Burning ham.
Bianca's watching she just finished Outlander.
Is it amazing?
I mean,
wait, no. Is this the one that you were telling me about? With the Scottish ones? We shouldn't talk about that.
Anybody who's seen the show Outlander.
Claire.
It's fun to do accents.
That's not appropriation. We're we're not making fun of the show.
It's a talent.
We're
It's a
just
talent,
we're
you know?
appreciating it.
I see people on TV and I'm like, man, I know that's not their voice. You know, I do that in the gym sometimes.
I know you do. You're talking about Melba. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, so it was a little bit deeper of a conversation, and I think it's important to excuse me. I think it's important from time to time to have those kind of moments with either, if you can do them yourself, awesome. Like we found recently doing a focus call together, like spending some time banging out just ideas and letting words flow about our health, our fitness, life, business, everything. With a good trusted source, helps kind of guide some of those thoughts through. So, but if you can do them on your own, fantastic. And then if you decide that health, fitness, wellness, all these things are something you want to make habitual, you want to make them like a concrete part of just every day. Like, man, by the time I'm 50, I want to be like this. I want to look like this. And I want to be able to do these things. Like if that's where your fitness and health is, which is, I think, where the majority of the population needs to be. And then there's a smaller percentage of people that are going for competitions or doing races or like have a specific sport.
Right.
So that's a whole different realm. And they're, same age, same demographic, whatever the case may be. But if you're not in one of those more, which I think is weird as a trainer to find out that you're not in one of those specific groups.
Yeah.
I mean, not that you couldn't be, but it's just,
you're not.
Well, when you really think about it, I'm like, man, do I want to go? Nah, I don't want to. Could I? Maybe if I needed to. If we were going to win $500,000,
like for a specific competition,
whatever. But
yeah,
all in all, if you decide that health and fitness, all these things are things that you want to habitualize and you want to make it like a reality for you, going on a cruise, going on vacation, Christmas, Thanksgiving, all of those things, it's stuff that happens around your routine,
right?
Which is a weird way which is a really hard place to be if you're not there yet, a really hard place to see if you're not there yet, because you do it, having Thanksgiving, having a drink here and there, partying up for spring break with their family or whatever, and they're just still super fit or doing their things. That's because all of the other times that they're not having spring break or playing around or going on vacation, their routine dictates that their body reacts a certain way and they look a certain way.
So what you're kind of saying is kind of twofold.
Do whatever you want, but
what you're saying is that if you are really dialed in, like exactly who you are, what you want to do, and who you want to be in terms of your fitness.
Yeah.
That something like a spring break or a Thanksgiving or a 7-day cruise is not going to be an issue because you're so dialed in that the problem will just kind of take care of itself. If you're dialed in and it means it's how you live and breathe, then when you're on the cruise, you're going to do something active because it's in your bones.
Yeah.
And so that's the one fold. And the second thing that you said, which was cool, it sounds like if you are super dialed in the other 99% of the time, then you can also kind of afford to be lax. You have some credit built up. You can kind of be, you don't have to follow a specific diet or if you miss a day of workout, it's going to be okay. It's going to kind of all come out in the wash.
I think big part of
told her.
Now hear this. It's part of it's because you're choosing to go on spring break vacation. You're choosing to break your routine, to take yourself away from the gym. And that's fine. That's beautiful. That's great. That's your life. I've repeated a lot of times over the last few weeks, like the gym, wherever you go to the gym, whatever your gym may be, whatever your fitness approach is, or the garage, a specific place, a big box gym, whatever, it should be the cherry on top of all of these other things. It should be first. And I come in here.
You're talking about the lifestyle.
Yeah, dude. I still come in here and just grit it out like nasty. Just, I'm going to not hurt yourself nasty, but painful in the heart rate, the cardio, the muscle fatigue, the
mental strain,
burn, all of it. Like you should never, I repeat, I've said this a couple of times these last few weeks too. Do not be sorry for how badass you think you need to be. Like, don't feel sorry for how hard you want to come into the gym and work out. Come and do that, but maybe rethink it. Put some bigger picture behind it so that you have a better guide. Now, if you're not dialed in though, which I haven't been all the time over the years, and I've been on stuff.
Sure.
And I'm like, look at pictures from those times. And I'm like, yeah, it wasn't that vacation that made you look that way, bud. Like you were going into it kind of hefty or going into it kind of slower or going into it just surviving. even as a
Right.
trainer. Love to help others and guide others and stuff. And then, and it's all bullshit. It's all BS. Like to say that I can't do it for myself.
Sure.
But when it comes down to it, the more dialed in you are, the more you can basically, when I say do whatever you want, the more dialed in you are to your actual overall goals, health and wellness and fitness, the easier it's going to be for you to go on like a vacation, take some time off and not even sweat. Like maybe you're going to have more fun than you normally would. Maybe you're going to have more food, more whatever than you normally would. I'm still going to probably go work out at some point. I probably kind of need to, not because of my yes, for my peace of mind and calories and blah, 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 blah. But like, I kind of have to, do it.
Dude, look, this is exactly why it's so important to have two coaches. I said the title.
The thing, you said the name of the thing.
My God. This is why it's so important.
Whoa.
This is why it's so important to have.
You're the worst. You were so, because there was like there was genuine excitement and then I forcibly couldn't be excited about you saying the name.
God, you're such a contrarian, man. You can't just join me.
That was so lame.
Yeah. You broke though. That's good. That makes me happy. No, this is why it's important to have two coaches. It's important to have two perspectives because I'm like, okay, look, here's the plan. Okay. You're going to, at 9 a.m., that's your normal workout time. You're going to execute the plan here at 9 a.m. Go do 10 push-ups, 10 squats. And that way, from a habitual standpoint, you stay consistent. Yay, cool. Or plan B is you botch all of that. Well, at the very least, make sure your butt is back in the gym at 9 a.m. on the time back. However, what you're saying is I would even venture as far as to say it's more powerful because what you're saying is you're dialed in, truly dialed in, and you know what your vision set, all that jazz. Then all of that other stuff is going to happen organically. You don't necessarily need to make a plan because you're already living the plan.
Or at least
that's not something that you have to focus on.
Yeah. At least you're trying to.
Right.
At least you're in the effort, in the process, in the guide of someone else. You know, you're in that. That's your path right now, and that's what you're trying to make your priority, and that's what you're pushing towards the front of your choices and your lifestyle and everything. So now you can kind of come at it with a little bit more tact, a little bit more grace. Like I know for sure if I'm in which I haven't been in a while, knock on wood, right? But if I'm in a lull, whether it be because of life, motion, fat percentage, whatever the hell, that I would maybe allow to overcome my other thoughts of like, things are okay. Things is good. But if I get into a lull, you know, you got to be honest with yourself. Like, hey, we're going on vacation and your butt needs to make sure that you exercise at least a couple of these days. Cause you know, you're going to have a good time. You know, you're going to eat, you know, you're going to stay up late, you know, you're going to, whatever the case may be, vacation cliches, right?
Right.
But you know that you're going to need to get some activity. Like my bachelor party, the morning, like we were there for a few days.
Yeah.
But like one of those mornings, I just went for a run. One, because my knees were good too, right? But one, because I like to run at the time. I just don't want to say like I like to run, and people are like, "Don't you have bad knees?" My mom's like, "Well, that's why your knees are bad."
I know about your meniscus. That's not how your mom sounds at all.
No. She'd be like, "Micmac, should you be running that much?"
Micmac?
Yeah.
She does not call you that.
Oh yeah. I'll let you listen to a voice. I'll grab my phone in a little bit. I'll let you listen to a voicemail.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
Hey, Micmac, it's mom. It's mama.
I love her. Oh, she's the best.
I've told people that before too. They're like I'll meet them and their mom, like a client or something, and their mom's like, "It's my little sugar" or whatever. They're like, "Oh," I'm like, "Hey, listen." My mom calls me Micmac.
I can squat 405
She'll call me
on an off day.
My mama calls me Micmac. But yeah, like, yeah, she calls me Micmac.
You should get a tattoo of that.
I woke up and ran, and part of it was because I wanted to see more of New Orleans during the day.
Sure.
And that was really cool. Like the whole time I was running, I was thinking like, man, this cobblestone is not good for your knees.
there's a lot of uneven terrain.
So much
Yeah.
cobblestone there. I was like, this is a terrible idea, but it felt so good,
Yeah.
So I
Ah,
think
I wish I could have made it to that, man. I still live with regret.
I think maybe I forgot that you weren't there for a while. There was a time when I was like, yeah, no, Rob. Oh yeah.
Like in your imagination, I was just there.
It was like, yeah, yeah. And they were like, who did he just high five? Hey, he is drunk. They told,
That's my friend.
I don't know. He's in the bathroom just talking to somebody. Keep saying, coach.
We were we were on the phone for a little while there.
But yeah, so I think, and then if you're not dialed in, I think, which sometimes you're not, even, and the reason I mentioned about like that conversation last night was because it's cool to think about, like, it is cool to stop and think about, like, all right, like I love exercising.
Yeah.
I really like power cleans. I do.
Sure.
It's just a cool exercise.
Yeah. It's
I want to be able to do pull-ups when I'm like 50, 60, 70 years old.
muscle ups.
Yeah, dude, muscle ups would be great, but I have a crappy shoulders, and it would be awesome to just be in a gym or at my freaking house with my little hang up thing, just like knocking out like 20 pull-ups when I'm like, because, and it's not, part of it is because like that's not something that's in my family.
Right.
The respect flows from different things, from culture, from like history, from things that people had to do back in the day. Times is a lot easier. This is a good time, if any, at least even with all the nonsense going on, to maybe stop and think about what your fitness journey is really about before it gets muddied, before it gets muddied again and things are normal. Whatever that is. And you're like, oh, I'm back during this time, I should have really taken advantage of whatever the hell. Like right now, if spring break's coming up, you're a teacher, you're whatever, you're not working, whatever the case may be, it's time to stop and think like, okay, going into this thing, what are my plans for this week? Do I have no plans whatsoever? It's just to relax and break away from my normal lifestyle.
Which maybe that's the thing.
Maybe that's what it is. Like I always like that Jocko quote, which is like, what do I do on the days that I'm not feeling it, that I don't really want to show up?
Yeah.
I go anyways. But he does say there in the middle of the speech, in the middle of the song, he says, do I need a rest? Like maybe that's an inclination. Maybe that's your brain, your heart, your body, life just telling you, chill out.
Right.
Just don't do it today. Just don't do it right now. And you could dig deeper and be like, oh, well, then I'm never supposed to take a break. Yeah. That's not what he's saying. And that's not how I took it, at least.
Yeah. It's not what you're saying.
And what I'm saying is like, if you can see spring break in the distance here and you're just like, hallelujah.
2 days, baby.
Dude.
2 days.
Take a damn break, especially if you've been struggling with your fitness, and maybe spend some time on the porch, like writing down like, all right, what the heck does this fitness stuff mean to me?
Yeah, that is so damn
What
true,
do I want to do tomorrow morning, or be it at the end of the week after spring break when school starts? What do I want this to look like?
If you're counting down the days to a break,
which that means I've done.
That means you need a fucking break.
Yeah. I've been in the state too where I've even gone fought for the weekend. Like I've for some reason I thought, and I know that's a cliche thing to talk about, but
not at all.
People can relate to it when you are genuinely like, for the love of all that is spiritual in my whole being. Yeah. Sweet universe mother, all holy God, please.
Here, keep talking.
Please give me a break. Can I get some music, please? Can we change the lighting? Frame it up, please. Dim. Awesome.
Can you riff off like a sweet monologue right now about like sweet spirit? What you were about
sweet
to do?
Spirit? What do you mean?
Did you not say that?
No, dude, you're talking about some weird stuff. Oh, Holy Father, dear sweet Earth Mother.
Well then,
but
I misheard you.
Yeah, like it's. If that is how, and I have felt like that 100%. And the only reason I mentioned to the weekends
right
was because that's a very short time frame of not feeling like you're in it,
Right.
not feeling invested, not feeling like there's a purpose to this whole the scheme that's going on.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
gotta
and
get
that,
to the gym.
and that typically means that
Gotta
like
get to the gym.
that typically means that you are ready for some sort of reprieve, right?
heard that,
Some sort of rest, relaxation. You're burnt out.
There's a quote like that. I don't remember who says it, but there's a quote like that that's like, it's that is a sign, a good tell sign that your body, your brain, your heart, something in your symbiosis, something that's supposed to be running congruently is boom, 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 is now rigid.
Right.
Maybe it's not so strict that you're rock bottom or that you're dead in your tracks or that you're like, I just don't have any motivation. Maybe it's just that there's some friction. Maybe it's that you're skipping some of the things that you really want to be doing. But like bottom line, like if you're not flowing that stuff out, you know what I mean? It's always going to be rigid, and that those ridges get worse. They just get harder to overcome and harder to overcome. And then you're 50, you're 65, you're whatever, and you're just like, shit. Oh no. Wait a second.
Oh no.
I don't need to do these snatches or like whatever. or vice versa. You know what I mean? Like I should get up out of this bed, like whatever the case may be.
Right. I mean, I think that the two advices that we brought to the table are relevant for different stages of a journey, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what you're talking about is when you have really been in the groove for a little while. You know what you're after. You've been attacking it successfully for a while, and you're running and gunning, man.
Yeah.
You are already in that lifestyle. That should always be the goal. Like when we have focus calls with people, that's what we're trying to get them to. We're trying to get them to the point where their goals and their lifestyles are succinct. They're matched up and they're rocking and rolling every single day. So that's something like a vacation, or not to get too morbid, but no, I won't go there. But if something like a speed bump comes along, that it doesn't throw them to the point where they're going to completely lose all their results.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate goal. And I think that's what your advice does really, really well. And I think that's important for people to keep in mind. Yes, the lifestyle, getting to that type of mindset is always the ultimate destination. Is always the goal.
But it might not be this spring break.
But it might. And in the meantime, baby, set yourself a plan. Have a goal in mind where it's like,
Full circle.
9 a.m. I'm going to go ahead and do my squats.
Yeah.
And if not during that spring break, if not during the week, then when I get back, I am not missing a single day once I get back. My favorite story ever. I won't say his name, but you know who you are. He came back in February. This was last year. He came back in February, and I was like, "Whoa, hey, bro, where you been? Good to see ya." And he was like, "Hey, coach, how's it going?" I was like, "Where you been, man? It's good to see you. Where you been?" He was like, "Oh man, Labor Day." I was like, "Labor Day in September last year?" And he was like, "Oh yeah." Well, so what had happened was he went for a 4-day weekend. His plan was great. His plan was to come back on Tuesday and start working out again. Well, he got delayed. His trip back was pushed out, and so he got back really, really late on Tuesday. And so he was like, "All right, Wednesday." He was one of my 5 a.m.ers. Wednesday morning, I'm there. Wednesday morning rolled around, and he was completely out of it.
Yeah,
completely out of his routine. Wasn't used to waking up that morning, and he was like, "You know what? Half the week's gone. I'll start on Monday." Boop, 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 boop. February. So it is a pitfall, and people are susceptible to it. This dude was really consistent up until that point.
Yeah.
So it can be a stumbling block for people, but if you are an unstoppable force of nature because you're so dialed into what you're doing, then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Go enjoy yourself. 1 week is not going to make or break you. It didn't take 1 week to get you into a bad spot. It's not going to take 1 week to screw you up.
Yeah.
As long as you are mentally checked in. But in lieu of that, if you're not mentally checked in, you better have a freaking plan in place when you go into that vacation.
It makes sense.
Otherwise, you're screwed. and you're going to be one long weekend is going to turn into what is that, 4 months,
Yeah. I have
5 months.
purposefully at times in my life, before being a trainer and during, purposefully at times in my life, not set up a specific plan in place. Maybe it was in a lull or not, but just in general, vacation, time off, whatever the case may be.
Interesting.
And I've purposefully not set up a specific plan, and it bit me in the butt. And I didn't set it up because I challenged myself to be where I'm at, I think now, which is like, hey, it's okay. It's not a big deal, because overall, what is your goal? Your goal is to be, just healthy, man. And a good shining example of health and fitness and mental fortitude and, survivability,
That's
longevity.
so awesome.
But that's such a weird place to tell people that's where you're at, because that doesn't help.
Right.
That doesn't help the average bear that's like, hey, my squat's almost 455.
Right.
It's
like,
but
cool.
To be fair, no, but to be fair though, like, hell yeah. Also, I get it. I just think if you can dial it in, like I've been on a cruise ship squatting stupid amounts of weight.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, dude.
You want to talk about proprioception?
I've stepped into. I've stepped into a one of my old college, community college classes, athletic classes,
right,
and done a workout with them, and people been like, what the hell? Because I wasn't doing it for a class. I was like, hey, can I jump in your workout? Like, I need to get some shit out. It's not at Gold's. It's not at my friend's gym. It's just nowhere. Oh yeah, come on in. And I would just rip it, not even thinking until somebody afterwards was like, hey, what do you do? Huh? What do you mean?
That is so freaking cool. Like when your actions speak everything, tell everybody everything that you need to know.
I think that's and not to discredit, because look, mad respects. If I had good knees, I cannot sit here and tell you and both of you, camera one, camera two, that I would not be in a specific path in my brain that I needed to do something with athletics in a certain type of way.
Sure.
There's no way that I can sit here and tell you that. My knees have forcibly, my shoulder a little bit, and then the rest has all just been time spent with myself thinking like, you know what? My knees are right.
MCL, you have a good point.
Hey, ACL, not you, because you're not there. But you, I agree. I agree with you guys. We gotta be, that's, we've talked about being realistic before.
Yeah.
That's realistic.
Yeah.
That's realistic. And it's way easier said than done. So if you're not quite there, it might make sense, especially if you've done some badass stuff before. It would make sense to not get rid of that. You don't want to,
right.
You don't want to stifle your tenacity to try hard.
Right.
You just might need to turn it down in this specific subject, turn it up in this specific subject, so that maybe not this spring break, because we got a plan specifically, but next spring break, we're not dealing with this again.
Right. Because the ultimate goal is to not have to freaking worry about
10 spring breaks from now.
Right.
You're telling somebody, you're sitting having a conversation with somebody else like, oh yeah, dude, I remember when I used to freak out about that. Here's what you should do.
Right.
And it's going to take some time.
It gets back to we have talked about this extensively about multiple subjects, which is just, if you put in the time, eventually you'll grow bigger than those issues. You'll grow bigger than those problems.
Yeah.
And that's really, really cool. That's a cool thought, to the point where, yes, okay, this spring break, you need to have a plan, and you're going to execute that plan cerebrally and very deliberately. But in the future, you should not have to worry about it. If you're having to put a spring break plan together every single year, that means that you are neglecting the rest of your time, the rest of your year that you have at your disposal.
Yeah.
Move towards what Coach Michael's talking about, which is that mindset.
Yeah.
And you're going to have lulls. It's going to happen. I won't say her name, but one of our friends, a prominent Instagram figure, if you hear this, hit us up. Lulls happen. She was like, God, what exactly did she say? In her post, she was like, when you wake up in the morning and you're not even morning skinny anymore.
Same, girl.
I was like,
Same.
preach it. Oh my God. I'm there with you.
But you know what? You already knew that was coming for the few months that it was happening, and then you ran into the. I've done it, dude. Ran into the mirror that next morning, hoping that it was not what I knew it was. Just like
that's the biggest denial. That's the biggest denial BS out there, man. Where you're like, well, here I am eating Chick-fil-A for the 5th day in a row, and but then you step on the scale and you're like, it won't go up. It won't go up. Yeah, it's going to,
dude. And you know, but it's those are their moments, and they can. I think they can. They have the potential to be very pivotal.
Yeah.
And they also have the potential to be very like stunting. They can I feel like they can stop you dead in your tracks. You could be thinking through this lull, maybe something happened, an accident, maybe whatever the case may be.
Right.
But you're in a lull, you're not doing so great. And you've had these feelings throughout this whole lull of like, it'll be okay. Like, I'm gonna get through this. I need help. Let me talk to this person. Same as everybody else that goes through lulls. And then that final moment where it's like, okay, this is your chance. Like, here's the rope. Time to climb up. Let's do your thing. We're on our way up. You know, where do you want to be mentally when you get there, kind of thing. And sometimes you hit a high and you don't even notice it. You're just kind of like, yeah, things are like a little bit better, but they're just going to be bad again.
Right.
And then you kind of get into that groove, dude. I've been there too, even in a shorter amount of time with clients, with myself, just kind of being like, pour whatever I had into the client, not really taking care of myself. And then also something happened. And it's just like, sometimes it's just heavy. And you're like, yeah, life's just heavy, just like me.
Oh no.
You know, anybody, it's so easy to just be like, it's so easy for people to, and trainers aside, I just mean people in general.
Right.
But it's just so easy to be like, well, you know, just do better, make better choices. Stop being whatever, however you want to word it. It's so easy. But this thing is yours. And once you accept that it is yours and you can own it, then you have that moment to be like, all right, like, what am I doing? What's this about? What do I want for me? You know, what would future me tell me?
Right.
Like, I've got this thing. And if you need help, whatever, that's fine too. But like, I need help all the time. Well, and I'm always asking people things. I realize I'm asking you, Bianca, my parents. I'm always asking people things, sometimes not even really seeking the definite answer. I just want to see what you say.
Interesting.
I just want to hear what your opinion is on it. Your opinion, client
so
members
you kind of digest it.
And people do that because they look for I've read that people do that because they look for validation.
Yes.
And I have definitely done that, but I can't lie. Every time I've looked for validation and gone and done the same process of asking people's opinions, I know that I'm looking for a reason for me to not try hard, or for me not to continue on that thing that was going to be going to transpire once I got through that point.
Right.
So
I think it's interesting because what you're talking about, I would say, is the end all be all. And that's what's cool about mindset, is it doesn't matter what your goals are. If you want to be squatting 455 pounds, 500 pounds, or if you want to be 2% body fat, or you want to be able to run a 5-minute mile, whatever your goals are, they all revolve around the same mindset, which is consistency. It all gets back to the same crap.
Yeah.
So what you're talking about is getting into a place where you know what the hell you're doing here. What is my fitness journey? What am I moving towards?
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. I would say that is the end all be all for whatever. And regardless of the goal, no matter what, you have to get to that mindset. What is the end all be all? What am I doing here? What am I moving towards? And what I'm saying is, I would say, I got to be careful when I say this because it's not the only way, but it is an option to get to that point.
What's a proven way?
Right. It's a plan. It's an actionable thing. If you're not in that mindset yet, if you're just starting out, it is a good way to kind of have some sort of structure that you can execute. And then as time goes on, as you work with your coach, as you think through these things, as you build those habits, that you can get to that end all be all.
Yeah.
Which is really, really super important. I mean, shit, when you're trying to create a lifestyle, you have to have certain steps at the beginning. This happened to me recently.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Coach Michael and I had a focus call, and it was really, really valuable to me. I was rocking and rolling for a little while. I was really kicking ass, man. And I felt
I don't know if we talked.
we have not.
So if we haven't talked about focus calls at all on here,
Oh yeah. Oh
this,
shit.
this is. I think we have. But for here at the gym, here at Transcend, we do focus calls. We do focus calls for the members. If you haven't scheduled one, schedule one. If you don't go to the gym and you want to have a focus call, give me a text, shoot me a message.
Nicely done.
But because I've like my first set of focus calls, I think I said this last time, but my
Yeah.
first set of focus calls were me just kind of like talk, hey, what's going on? How's your fitness? Blah, 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 blah. Which is good. That's a great.
Yeah.
My second set of focus calls were after you had sent me some ideas, some examples based
Right.
on the education stuff that you've been working on, based on the certs that you have.
Certs and all that.
But still,
Yeah.
though, but just with better guidance,
Right.
I went into the next few with the same people, and they were kind of they weren't regurgitative, but they were very much like, let's go along this lines.
Right.
After that was done, after those weeks, after those first couple of weeks, I was like, all right, let me take a big deep breath, stop freaking out. I dude, still like right now in a little bit after you leave, I'm gonna play the guitar.
Yeah.
Because I've been trying to practice the guitar.
Very nice.
But I'm gonna get nervous here in the room by myself. My hands will get sweaty.
Do you want me to stay?
I'll sing quiet. No, that'll make me more nervous. That's what I just said. But yeah, so like you throw me off now.
I'm sorry. You're gonna play the
What-
guitar.
What was I talking about?
You're gonna play the guitar.
Before that.
You were doing the focus calls, and you were
Yeah,
following
dude.
kind of
But we do
my
but
formula.
when the last set of them were beautiful. Like it was just we were having
Yeah.
good conversations and stuff. So when you called me and was like, hey, let's do a focus call. Part of me was like, oh no, like a part of me was nervous again.
Really?
Yeah, just because it's like this is our thing, is what we do here at the gym. It's
Yeah.
it's been kind of your idea, and it's grown over the time. But really, man, like it's good to bounce ideas, thoughts. Let somebody a vessel, somebody that
Right.
you trust, pour into. Let me pour this stuff into you real quick, and then we talk and respond, and then let me pour. And just like you said, even you were saying like the most structural part of it was when you were just like thinking through things.
Right. And you were asking me questions. And guys, look, here's the deal. Everybody runs into these roadblocks. Every single person has these moments where they're like, am I doing my best? I have a coach. It's Coach Michael. He's doing my focus calls. I have a life coach. Guy's name is Mark Montavo. Check him out if you little shout out. Not even a sponsorship, just a shout out. Everybody needs help, because when you're after these things and when you're trying to accomplish these goals, a lot of times the old us is so powerful because we've been the old us for so long. It can be very tempting when things get hard to just revert.
Yeah.
And go back to what it is, back to who you were. But that's why talking these things out and having an idea of what you're after and bouncing ideas off of somebody that you trust, like Coach Michael did for me, is so impactful and so powerful. So yes, if you're in fear of something like a break, something like a vacation, then that means that one, your fear is warranted.
Yeah.
Right. If you're nervous about it, that means that you are in a place where you need to be worried about it.
Yeah.
Because you're not entrenched enough in that lifestyle to just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So put a plan together. That's fine. Have a plan, put it in place, but know that overall, the ultimate goal is to do what Coach Michael was saying and get to that mindset of this is my life. And no matter what, I'm going to live this way because it's conducive to my goals.
Easier said than done for sure.
God, so much easier said than done.
Well, you were saying the old us wins. You got to think about like that old version of you, those old habits, those are years in the making. those are built up some freaking, they have dug in their heels.
Decades.
They're strong. So, and then when you make a change, like what you were talking about, you said, I don't know if you guys know that we had focus calls and that you and I had one.
Right.
Part of it was because when you, which we talked about here on the podcast about the motivation myth,
Right.
read that book, finish the book cover to cover, actually read it and tell me that you don't feel pumped up, that you don't feel hyped.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then you have to dig a little deeper and be ready for that, because that's a state of change.
Right.
Whether you call it a state of growth or a state of whatever, it's a state of change.
Right.
A 6-week challenge, whatever the case may be.
Whatever you're doing.
You're doing something. You're making a change. You're working out during your spring breaks. You're not eating Thanksgiving. Whatever the case, whatever the time frame that it fits in, that's a state of change, and it's gonna mellow out. It's
Right.
gonna, for lack of better words, plateau.
Right.
But you have the opportunity then to continue making these changes and find and build a new state of regular, a new you.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? There's no way that you can look at your health and fitness and think that it's an impossibility, although it is our stuff to deal with, and look at some of these other fools out there that are like accomplishing these crazy things with a lot less, whether
Yeah.
it be a lack of a limb or an addiction that they've overcome, or all these people that inspire us. Like, we're all here doing the same thing.
Right.
So you've got to kind of start building your own thing. It might not be, today that you're like, this is what it is about, but you have to start building it. Otherwise, what's the point? Like, what's the point? And then I was thinking about it. Some of our members here, even like some of them might need to start doing some competitions. Like, some of them might need to get into
Right.
that new thing. If that's
And
something, if that's an
that's
itch,
cool.
dude, if that's an itch, like, you gotta, at least you owe it to yourself but you still go into it with tenacity
Right.
and grace.
Right.
Gracious. You can mix them if you want. My high school alma mater always was like tenaciter was our thing, and it was like the Latin version,
What?
the Latin version of like to do things with tenacity.
Oh,
And it was
awesome.
It was super cool. But I remember that as I got older, and then I remember telling, you got to be tenacious for years and years and years before I was a trainer.
right.
Telling people in the restaurant business and food service and working at the bar, like, talking about life tenaciously.
Right.
But if you don't come at it with any kind of grace, any couth, any thought process, like, you're probably, it's gonna be a rough. You'll figure it out for sure because of
Right.
the passion, but that can get ugly real fast. You
Right.
know?
God, dude, that is so freaking true.
You want to snatch 200 pounds? Do it.
Do it.
Just do it right. Do it safe. Deserve it. You know what I mean? Get
Right.
there and be like, yeah, dude, I worked for this. I did all the things, and make sure it's for you.
Yeah.
And if
And-
if it's being able to get to a spring break, a Thanksgiving, a holiday, and it's just no sweat off your back, and people are like, how do you do it? Like, it's going to take some time to build that, but you can do. I want to be there. That's where I want to be.
Hell
dude.
yeah.
I want people to be like, man, how do you do it? I'm like,
Well,
it's
also
all for show,
shit,
baby.
talking about this,
Yeah.
like right now, I have a trip planned to a lake this weekend. I am going to do some sort of physical activity on the lake just because we're talking about it right now.
Yeah.
I feel amped up. I feel ready to do something I've never done, which is work out on vacation. I've never,
Ever?
No. That's not true.
Oh, come on.
I have been on a cruise and I have worked out one time. It's been one
But you've
time.
never traveled.
And it's because my dad
oh yeah,
was like, hey, let's go to the
I
gym.
could see that.
And dude, oh my God, the rest of the trip was horrible. My biceps didn't work. I was like, what? How do I lift the plate? How do I go to the buffet?
He did that on purpose.
Yeah, I know.
He's like, let's do this.
That's-
Let's do this shoulder circuit. Hey, you want to do
That-
some curls?
That's
Come do
neither.
some push-ups with me.
That's neither here nor there. He introduced me to supersets when I was a teenager.
Heck yeah.
But that again, neither here nor there. My point is, talk about these things.
Yeah.
If you have a concern, if you're like, oh shit, I don't know what I'm going to do when I go on this break, or I've been out of the game for a while. I haven't come to the gym. I haven't worked out, even though I know it's a crucial part of what I need to be doing. Then talk about it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Find somebody that you trust and kind of rebound those ideas back and forth, and you will find that the quote unquote motivation to do those things comes rushing back.
Yeah.
That's why I love talking with you. That's why I did a focus call with you, is because those feelings of like, I got this, I can do this, I know what I've done before. All of that is a part of who I am. But so is slacking off and not doing what I need to do.
Yeah, man. Me too.
So it's the battle of the two wolves. One of my favorite stories. There's an old wise man. He's out with his grandson, and he says, "There's a battle in my mind. There are two wolves, one of good who loves charity and compassion, and one of evil who is selfish and driven by ego. And they're constantly at war." And the grandson goes, "Well, of the two wolves, which one wins?" And the grandfather looks at the son and says, "Whichever one I feed." Oh, shit.
That was so intense. Whew. I was trying not to break eye contact with you, but it was intense. At one point, I looked at the mustache behind your head. I was like, I need a break. Ooh.
But that's what it boils down to. Talk these things out. If you have a concern, if you're like, I don't know, I feel like I'm on rocky ground because these new habits that I've been executing are so new. They're so fresh. I feel like I'm going to lose them.
You kind of need both.
Talk that shit out. Talk with somebody you trust, your coaches, whatever. Talk it out and make sure that you have something solid to stand on when you go into this new realm, like a vacation. So that way, you know, you're going to be successful. Yeah. It should not be a surprise when you win, because you have already prepared. And then you'll get, after doing that enough times, you'll get to a point, like Coach Michael said, where you are so entrenched in the lifestyle that you never have to worry about it again. And that, my friends, is beautiful.
That was pretty good.
Thanks, man.
That was a good look. Were you intending to close it out?
I wasn't.
No?
But then I did.
That's pretty good. Because I was already thinking about, like, what should I say next? Oh, that was pretty good. What should I say next?
I like this setup way more than the couches, by the way.
In like let's do the couches again in like 3 months.
No.
3 to 4 months.
I don't want to.
I'm gonna do it with my shirt off.
One of these days, my cousin is going to build us a table.
No, I do like the table setup. I do like the table setup.
It's good.
Yeah, because I think this is easier.
Yeah. It's easier to talk to you. The couch feels like I'm on the Conan O'Brien show.
Yeah.
Hey, Conan O'Brien. if your tall ass ever wants to come on the show.
Which is funny because I thought of like the Maury show and like Ricky Lake and like Jerry Springer. No joke. That's what you said, Conan, and I was like, oh yeah, there's other shows with couches that aren't that aren't used as like defensive weapons. Our show is better than that.
Why did you choose like trashy daytime TV? Maury, no offense.
It's my favorite to watch. You know, I'd rather watch that. You know.
All right, you beautiful people. Here's the deal. If you are going into spring break coming up, or if you have just a vacation in general coming up, if you are not just completely entrenched in your lifestyle, then have a plan. Either
don't pretend like you are either.
Right, exactly. Be honest with yourself and make it plan to execute whilst you're on vacation. If you work out at 4 p.m. every single day, then every single day around that time, have something that you're going to do that's physical. So that way, at the very least, psychologically, you stay in the habit. You stay in the routine. Great. If you are like, dude, I'm not going to be able to work out at all, then at the very least, when you come back and you get into that normalcy, when you come back home, that you get into the routine ASAP. Do not miss a freaking day. That being said, you always want to have in the back of your mind that there is a state of being. That sounds way more nebulous than I ever like to be, but there is a state of being where you are so entrenched in your lifestyle that you actually don't have to worry about it. You can go and have a drink and be okay. You can miss several days and be fine.
Something bad can. I know you were going to talk about death earlier.
What?
I know you were.
No.
Everybody else knows too.
No.
Yeah, dude. Everyone was like, "He's talking about."
You will be so entrenched. You will have so much momentum into this lifestyle that you just won't have to worry about that. And that's great. That is the ultimate goal. So take it, figure out, be honest with yourself in order to figure out where you are now and execute a plan if you're on rocky ground, or if you are a badass who's been at it for a year or more and you're already just so entrenched in that lifestyle, then congratulations, you're already unstoppable.
Yeah.
Keep running.
And it's interesting you said like a year or more. That's
what it takes.
I always tend to ask people like, how long have you been working out? How long have you been trying to do this thing? Or how long you been,
Right.
And the typical answer is like 2 to 5 years for a lot of people that I talk to.
Right.
There's a lot that are like, I haven't worked out in 2 to 5 years, but they were used to work out regularly.
Right.
Bottom line, you've been in the business before, right? Yeah, dude, it takes time for sure. It takes time, right? But man, like, be honest with yourself. If you're out there and you are, you need to not give yourself any leeway, not because out of punishment, because that's what you really want to do. That's what's going to make you come out of this thing and be happy about it. Go for it. I told one of my other clients, they're literally a teacher talking about spring break. And I told her, their response was, I'm not going to be able to do anything. Bottom line. I said, for sure. Not a single bit of time. No. Okay, cool. Well, while you're there doing your thing, she's got a conference and then something else. And then the rest is free time, like 3-4 days of free time or something.
Interesting.
I was like, bottom line, when you're there, make sure you sit up straight. Make sure you keep your core tight. Don't forget to breathe. Drink a gallon of water.
Something.
Drink a gallon of water
Jesus.
and eat some good food here and there in between the bad meals.
Right.
She was like, I could do that. I was like, of course you can.
Hell yeah.
Of course you can.
Do what you can.
Yeah. She texted me yesterday. She's like, I think I'm going to walk every day. I was like, settle down, take it easy. You're not going to run. Don't go outside.
I think I'm going to snatch 205. I don't know.
I'm going to use the hotel bar. I think I'm going to use the hotel gym to do a squat day. Yeah, it's all good.
Hey, guys, listen. You're way more powerful than you know.
Yeah.
Your approach, the way that you do that, all of that crap are details that are very, very important that you should take into account. But at the end of the day, you can execute. You are as every bit incredible as anybody else on this planet. So go and work your process. Challenge yourself, work your process, have a plan if you need one, and then ride the momentum if you don't. But either way, do not miss any days. That is the most important part. Cool? Keep that in mind.
You're just trying to close it out again all smooth.
Dude, I try.
Try it again. I'll keep bringing it back. We'll keep this conversation going all day.
But we've said everything.
All right, guys, we'll see you later.
If you are brand new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you can see whenever we are live streaming. And also, if you are following us, I see a couple of people here live streaming with us. Drop us a question in the chat. Let us know what you're wondering. Let us
He's
know
been
what
wanting
your
people to
problems
do
are.
that for a while.
I know. I can't wait. It's going to happen eventually. I'm going to be like,
we're taking a caller today.
yeah, exactly. It's going to happen. It's going to be awesome.
Hi, caller. Welcome to our Discord.
We are.
Damp, two coaches.
We are here for you. We want to make sure that you have any concerns that you have met and
Heck yeah.
and talked about, because it's hard. It's hard to get started. So let us know what you think in the comments down below. Let us know any questions that you might have. And yeah, we are your two coaches. And Baby, you're supposed to follow me. Ready?
We don't close it out with the thing.
Oh no,
Nah, just the opening.
it has been a while. All
All
right, you beautiful people. This is the end of the show. We'll see you later. Do good, be good, stay active, stay relentless, and we will see you next time.
Oh yeah. There's people watching live. Can you hear me right now, live people?
There were.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know if they're still there. Maybe.